Hello and welcome to the Northwest Treatment Vidcast.
Hello, Jessica. How are you today?
Hey, Léa, how's it going?
Oh, trying to enjoy the very cloudy June. Well, I guess it's July now. July weather we're currently having.
Right, right. It's definitely an interesting change with the weather. It got a little nicer for a minute there, and now it's kind of not as cold as it has been, but it's definitely still go out and about weather.
I know this has been a very weird year for Oregon in the way of summer weather.
Yeah, yeah. We were talking about how even the weather has been contributing to what's going on. For those of you that don't live in Oregon, recently the governor came out and stated that the entire state of Oregon is now under a mandatory mask wearing policy, which means if you're out in public or in a building that's open to the public, you must wear a mask at all times.
Yeah, which is, she also added in there making sure that we do this as a measure for us not to have to shut down our state again.
Correct. A lot of this is trying to be figured out so that we don't have to worry about stopping the economy and stopping a lot of those jobs. There's definitely pros and cons to keeping it open, as well as if we shut down again. There's definitely a lot of fear around people going back to work, especially a lot of people who are going back to work are more of the hourly wage or restaurant workers or, stock shelves at, the store. And so I
Well,
do think the masks are a good thing right now.
I would agree with that, right? Take care of your neighbor, take care of yourself, take care of as many people as you possibly can right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other piece that people really aren't talking about, but I read a New York Times article, and I'll link it down below also, was an op-ed about going back to work full time with kids.
Right. You've now had a chunk of time where your kids have gotten used to you being home. You've gotten used to being home. You have kids. You've had to deal with this. It's a big
Yeah.
change.
Well, not even that. Many places don't have childcare. Summer camps are not open. Folks are talking about reopening offices in September
Right.
when our schools may not open, which means this may force out an entire part of our workforce out because frankly, I'm not sure if I don't, I do know I would not be able to go back to work if the schools are not reopened in September.
Right. It's one thing to push through a month or two, kind of like band all together. We can do this, educate your kids from home kind of style.
Three
But if you're
months?
talking long term, and we're talking
Yeah,
maybe all of next year, question mark. There's all kinds of stuff and we just don't know.
we don't know.
We are going to make sure to put in our description below the specific official website from the governor that has the most up-to-date information. They do have a daily or weekly email you can sign up for that kind of
Mm-hmm.
tells you the most recent statistics on new cases of COVID or deaths related to COVID or just tips, to stay safe,
Yeah.
and Oregon was doing very well to begin with, how quickly we had shut down. We were, I want to say, fourth lowest of COVID cases in the US. But then Memorial Day hit and just everybody all across the nation kind of the numbers just exploded.
Right. And a lot of it was getting blamed on protests and whatnot. And an article in, I want to say it was NPR online, came out and said that they were linking a lot of these to parties at home, actually.
Correct. And Memorial Day weekend, that there was a convergence of open beaches, open parks, people just getting stir crazy, the weather getting
Yeah.
nice, and then Memorial Day weekend happened. And most of what I've seen is direct connections to small home parties, birthdays, get togethers, or Memorial Day campouts. And so there's definitely been a lot of talk this coming weekend is July 4th, which might be a week or two after this gets posted, but it's one of those that they're talking now to try to be prepared for that, and to try to make the smartest choices we can.
Yeah. And so with that comes a lot of this uncertainty that we have, not just you and I as business owners and also as, mental health professionals, but also just a lot of uncertainty around what can we do? What can we not do? What does it look like? What does it not look like? And trying to make plans. And
Yeah,
even this video of ours, this is actually the second time we've done it because the information was no longer relevant.
right. The
Like
data
that's how
changes so
quickly this
fast.
moved. Exactly. That
Right.
had moved so quickly that we finally had to go back and rechange the video because of this.
Right. And it's one of those things where, it used to be county by county in Oregon to move from the phase 1 reopening to phase 2 and so on. And now the governor has connected a lot of the main, I want to say 4 or 5 counties that are right around Portland in the urban area, because they do so interconnect with jobs at home. And it's one of those things that we just don't quite know. And
Well,
it's scary.
somebody was saying how they didn't understand how, so Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington County are the counties you're referring to,
Right.
how they like how you could go across county lines. And I was like, well, I live in Washington County. My children go to daycare in Multnomah County, and I work in Clackamas County.
Right.
So on a day where I take the kids to daycare, I go through all 3 counties.
Right. Right. And so it does make sense to connect them. And
It does.
the other thing we wanted to acknowledge on kind of the mental health side is it is scary to be reopening. It is okay if you're having those fears of returning to work, and not just like Leah mentioned earlier with kids, but also just your health and well-being,
Yeah.
right? And if you have some sick time, maybe you want to take some of it. If you don't, see what other options are out there for you. Just do the best you can, acknowledge the fear, it sucks, and try to do the best to take care of yourself, because right now it's a scary time.
So some of the things that we've been doing in my family, because we have some trips that are planned with family members that I've talked to you about, is my husband and I are trying to figure out what's our threshold, like how many daily cases before him and I are like, we're uncomfortable, we're not putting the kids there, we're not doing it ourselves because we don't want to be around that. And then we're also talking about potentially just going for a day as opposed to going camping for 4 days,
Right.
and looking at where we're going camping and what their cases have been like. Because the truth is, I also don't want to, if I am a carrier, I don't want to bring it to another county that's across the state line and make things worse for them also. So that's the other thing. That's the consideration of your neighbor, and making sure that we're trying to, I mean, we're all in this together, right? Like,
Right.
this is a big boat. Everybody's on the boat together. We need to make sure that we take care of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's perfectly fine to tell family or friends, no, I'm not coming to your, event or your barbecue. I am staying home. Or to ask, like, thank you for the invite. Will it be outside? Right? Can I
Yeah.
come and bring my own silverware? Or can I come and hang out for an hour or two just to see people, but not get too close? Everybody wears masks, and anybody, that you don't want to hang out with, you don't want to go out, that's fine. There's definitely a lot of people still trying to stay home.
Yeah, it definitely is. And so with that, we wish you to be well and to stay healthy.
Thanks, guys.